Before you have those obligations. So I would encourage you to take risks now, do something bold.
If you truly want to be successful, it's going to be a long, hard time for you to really reach your goals because you're going to be so focused on the winning aspect and you're not going to focus on when you fail. But you are going to fail and that's going to be okay. You need to get used to failure because it is going to happen and it will change the path of your life if you let it. But you need to have the mentality of every failure is a great learning opportunity for you to learn something new about yourself. So many people view failing as this awful thing that happens to them when in actuality, failure is a great thing to happen because it really puts you in perspective and sees where you really are in life and how you can further improve to make your life more full and more rich.
Really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into.
To get the most out of it and experience it to the fullest. And a lot of times people don't like failure, so they'll just give up. And that's when it's drawing the line. If you decide to give up on your goals or your dreams and aspirations, everything you've worked for is an absolute waste of time and there's no need for you to even start if you know you're going to give up. Because all that time and energy was just flushed down the drain because you decided not to try your hardest to achieve your dreams and it was a waste of your time and anybody else's time that was poured into you. You also need to get used to getting out of your comfort zone because you learn so much more when you're uncomfortable and you learn about yourself and how you operate when you're not feeling like your normal self and you have to adapt to your own environment.
If someone was really the person that solved it, they'll be able to answer multiple levels. Some thought to how can I provide advice that would be most helpful, and I'm not sure I've given enough thought to give you the best possible answer, but I think certainly being focused on something that you're confident will have high value to someone else and just being really rigorous in making that assessment, because people tend to, a natural human tendency is wishful thinking. A challenge for entrepreneurs is to say, well, what's the difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit? That is a really difficult thing to tell. Can you tell the difference between those two things? So you need to be sort of very rigorous in your self-analysis. I think certainly extremely tenacious and then just work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. All those things improve the odds of success. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, in 1 year you will achieve what they achieve in 4 months, what it takes them a year to achieve. Really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into, given that even if you're the best, there's always a chance of failure. I think it's important that you really like whatever you're doing. If you don't like it, life is too short. If you like what you're doing, you think about it even when you're not working. It's something that your mind is drawn to, and if you don't like it, just really can't make it work, I think.
So many people try to talk me out of starting a rocket company. It was crazy. One good friend of mine collected a whole series of videos of rockets blowing up and made me watch those. He just didn't want me to lose all my money. We're doing these things that seem unlikely to succeed, and we've been fortunate, and at least thus far they have succeeded. Now is the time to take risk. As you get older, your obligations increase. And once you have a family, you start taking risk not just for yourself, but for your family as well. It gets much harder to do things that might not work out. So now is the time to do that before you have those obligations. So I would encourage you to take risks now, do something bold. You won't regret it.
I think it would make far fewer mistakes, obviously, if I could go, here's a list of all the dumb things you're about to do, please do not do them. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, so it's hard to say. I've made so many foolish mistakes, I lost count, honestly. I mean, some of these things I just wish simple sort of mantra, management by rhyming. I worked for Homer. Management by rhyming is that thing I was saying, if the schedule's long, the design is wrong. We've overcomplicated the design many times, and I think we should have just gone with a simpler design, with the acid test being, how long will it take for this to fly? And if it's going to take a long time, don't do it. Do something else. If you look at, say, Falcon 9, it's got an aluminum lithium tank, but then the unpressurized structures are carbon fiber composite. Really, one of the worst possible things you could do to a joint is take something with a high coefficient of thermal expansion, high CTE, take it from room temperature to cryo, and then connect it to something that has zero CTE, basically zero, like carbon fiber. So now you've got a real pain in the ass joint, basically. In order for that to work, the tank's got to shrink radially, and you've got these super expensive, heavy bolts that are like a beam and bending across, that are then taking load into interstage, and they desperately want to shear off or snap off. Really, you should just have a continuous metal structure. That's obvious. That should be done. There's a friend of mine who's got a great saying about creating a company, which is trying to build a company and have it succeed is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. I mean, what tends to happen is it's sort of quite exciting for the first several months of starting a company. Then reality sets in, things don't go as well as planned, customers aren't signing up, the technology or the product isn't working as well as you thought, and then that can sometimes be compounded by a recession. It can be very painful for several years. So I think starting a company, people to have a high pain tolerance. I think some people do. It is definitely true that, I mean, maybe there are occasionally companies that get created where there's not an extended period of extreme pain, but I'm not aware of, very many of such instances. But I do think new great entrepreneurs are born every day, and we'll continue to see amazing companies get built. I would definitely advise people who are starting a company to expect a long period of quite high difficulty. I mean, as long as people stay super focused on creating the absolute best product or service that really delights their end customer, if they stay focused on that, if you get it such that your customers want you to succeed, then you probably will.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and go ahead and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.